This is Lena's third day in training, and here we are in the round pen. I'm going to begin by just letting her kind of get settled, and I'm just going to be a nice grounded presence for her. And then we're going to do some things that she likes. She really likes to have her withers scratched. So this is a good way to start on a positive note. I'm going to ask her to soften the neck. Here, I'm just asking her to come towards me a little bit. When she braces, I just follow with my hand, staying in position, encouraging her now to soften the head down. She gets a little distracted there. I'm going to redirect her attention here with an outside turn and then stop and wait for her to connect. And we continue with the outside turn. Now, if she braces in the neck right there, I'm going to set a boundary, becoming a wall, and wait for her to move away. And again, I stop and wait for her to reconnect. Here I'm going to ask her to move a little forward with a tap and stay with me as we practice leading with the wand and outside turns. Here, when she gets a little stuck, I want her to move forward. And I'm going to add just a little pressure there and reinforce with a gentle tap, and then stop the bubble. So I want her to move forward but not disconnect. Again, I ask with a gentle pressure and reinforce with a light tapping, releasing when she moves forward. And then here, we're going to stop the bubble. We're combining the going forward from the tapping with the outside turns, starting to shape her movement but staying connected and relaxed. So this is all very slow and gentle, encouraging her to release any tension where she's braced. One way we can do that is through lifting the legs and encouraging her to soften here in the shoulders. We lift the front legs. So as I lift, she braces a bit, and I'm just going to wait for her to soften and relax so I can lower that foot to the ground. And then I'm going to bring that leg forward. Here she braces. I just follow that movement, encourage her to relax the shoulder as I lower the leg to the ground. And these techniques are a great way to develop connection so that when I invite her to follow me, she stays with me and comes towards me. The back legs are a little trickier. I'm going to first ask her to step back again using a gentle pressure, and if she gets stuck, reinforcing with a light tap of the wand, releasing after each step. Stopping, giving her space, practicing our stop and wait. And then I'm going to ask her to lift the back leg. And you see when we do that, she gets a little braced and avoids by moving away. So I'm going to back her up into her little space, and we're going to try that again. My cameraman gets a little lost here. And here we see again she avoids lifting that leg by moving away. Here, move her back into position. Practice our backing up, moving away from a light pressure. And I'm going to just go a little slower this time, asking her to release any tension at each joint with a little movement here at the stifle, then the hock, down to the fetlock, and we'll ask again. I went through that maybe a little too quickly, it didn't work. But here I'm going to block the movement here and ask her to gently bring that leg down. And here we can see the moment where she stops, starts to think about it, and begins to cooperate a little bit, squaring herself up and releasing tension through the back leg. Here, when I ask her to bring the leg forward, we lose it. No, that's okay. We're going to just practice backing again. Now, sometimes I need to use a halter and a lead rope to start this lifting the hind legs. But Lena is a real sweetheart, so I'm just going to give it another try here. And this time she stays nice and quiet, and she relaxes through the back end as I bring the leg forward and lower it to the ground. So there she's able to stay grounded. You see she's allowed to reach her head down, which is always a good sign. I'm shifting her weight back, and then here she voluntarily comes towards me. Go into the outside turn. She gets a little stuck. I'm going to draw her in, again, inviting her to follow me. So follow me is a great way to develop connection. And each time I do a little release, that helps to soften the horse and encourage them to stay connected, making it easier to invite them to follow. Here she got a little stuck, so we're going to go back to that hind leg release. See if we can get a little softer response on this side. And here she brings her toe to the ground really easily. And I'm going to come forward and bring that foot to the ground in a forward position. Now, these are really quick hind leg releases, but they do have the effect of helping her to soften and follow me. So I want to make lifting the legs something that the horse enjoys and that improves our relationship, as opposed to something she just has to tolerate and fight through. Here again, we're much softer now with that right hind. And again here, as she becomes softer and more relaxed, it feels good. So when I invite her to follow, she willingly stays connected. Here I'm working on getting Lena to walk forward from a light tap. So she gets a little stuck going forward sometimes. And each time she gets a little stuck, I'm just giving her a light tap with the wand. Each time she goes forward, I release the tap. So it's a gentle tapping. It gets her attention. And as we teach her to go forward from tapping, this is going to make it much easier to get her to go forward when I'm riding, because I can reinforce my leg aid with that tap that she's familiar with. I'm going to stop, invite her to come towards me, and stop the bubble with the wand. I'm asking her to go forward in the other direction. She wanders off to the rail and starts to turn back. So I'm using a little outside turn to redirect, and then using the rail to help keep that direction as we go forward to the right. And again, each time she just gets even a little stuck in her movement, I'm going to give her a light tap to keep that nice forward tempo. Here I'm going to stop and just see what she does, see if she stops. She gets a bit distracted, but she does respond and stop. And then we'll go forward again. So if I feel like I'm losing connection, we'll stop and wait. Here she cuts in, so I'm going to work on that outside turn, softening the shoulder away. And when she gets a little ahead of me, I'm stopping the bubble with the wand from that side position so that we can do the outside turn without her getting ahead of me. And here I notice her head's up. She's a little braced in the neck and distracted and stuck when I ask her to go forward. So I'm going to ask her for a little lateral flexion to soften and to move the hind end as she's softening through the neck. So this is a little challenging. She gets a little stuck, but eventually she softens into that movement. And again, With each release, I am strengthening that connection. The end of our session, I give Lena some time to process, and we see that she is letting go of a lot of stress and tension and feeling more relaxed at the end of the session than she was at the beginning, which is always my goal. I want the horse to feel better as a result of our training and to enjoy the process.